Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we get you smart, fast, you're busy, we get it.
We definitely do.
Today, we're laser focused on the latest from Tata Consultancy Services, you know, TCS.
Yes, TCS, a big one.
And trust me, if you want to understand the pulse of the global tech scene, this is a company you need to know. The headline grabbing our attention.
The big number.
They've just smashed through the $30 billion mark in annual revenue. Let's unpack what that means.
Exactly. And to give you the inside track, we've waded through, well, quite a lot of information.
Like what?
Think press releases detailing their financial performance, FY25, Q4, broken down by both Indian and international accounting standards.
Okay, the official stuff.
Yeah, and we've also gone through their earnings call transcript, with the analysts.
Right.
And a summary of the key takeaways and where they're heading strategically. So we've got a really solid, kind of multifaceted view here for you.
Okay, good. Our mission then is simple. Cut through all that noise, deliver the crucial insights.
Get to the point.
We want you to understand TCS's recent wins, their core game plan, and what the future looks like for them, all without needing an MBA or, hours of scare time.
Hopefully in the next 20 minutes or so.
Let's dive right into those big numbers first.
Yeah.
The financials.
Right. So for the entire fiscal year 2025, TCS pulled in a massive Office 255,324 crore in revenue.
Wow.
That's a 6.0% jump compared to the year before.
Okay, 6%.
Now, sometimes currency fluctuations can, muddy the waters a bit.
Sure.
So if we look at it in what's called constant currency, basically stripping out those exchange rate swings,
Right.
the growth is still a very healthy 4.2%. That gives us maybe a clearer picture of their underlying business performance.
Got it. 4.2% constant currency. And hitting that $30 billion annual revenue milestone, that's not just a number, right?
No, absolutely not.
It feels like it signifies something bigger about their place in the world.
It really does. I mean, it underscores their position as a dominant force in the global IT services industry. It puts them in a very select group. And when we look at what powered this growth throughout FY25, one area really shines: their regional markets.
Or is it a market?
Yeah, they saw an exceptionally strong surge there, growing by 37.2% in constant currency.
7%, that's huge.
It is. And within that, their business in India itself just exploded. A remarkable 62.6% constant currency growth.
Wow, 62.6% in India. Makes you wonder what's driving that kind of momentum specifically.
Right.
Where else did they see, notable increases?
Well, drilling down into specific industries, energy, resources, and utilities showed solid growth, 5.1% in constant currency.
Oh,
And manufacturing also chipped in with a 2.9% increase.
right.
Interestingly, some other sectors like consumer business and life sciences and healthcare experienced more modest growth or even a slight dip.
Okay, so some variation.
Yeah, perhaps reflecting different, economic pressures within those specific areas.
Interesting to see that variation across sectors. Now, what kind of services were really in demand?
Good question. Looking at their service offerings, the real growth engines were in areas like IoT, Internet of Things and digital engineering,
Right.
enterprise solutions, helping businesses run their core operations more efficiently, and, well, unsurprisingly, AI and cloud services.
AI and cloud, no surprise there.
And it's becoming increasingly clear that the adoption of artificial intelligence, AI, across their client projects is gaining significant traction.
AI keeps coming up. That's clearly a big story here. We should definitely dig into some real-world examples soon.
Definitely.
But first, let's talk profitability. How did the margins look?
Pretty strong, actually. For FY25, TCS maintained a very solid operating margin of 24.3%.
24%.
Healthy. Yeah, and a net margin of 19.0%.
Okay.
Think of the operating margin as the profit from core business before interest and taxes, right? And net margin is what's left after everything.
Got it. So both indicate a pretty efficient operation.
Very much so. And they also generated a lot of cash. Their operating cash flow was, get this, 125.1% of their net income.
Wow, so converting profit into cash very effectively.
Extremely.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah.
Okay, what about their future prospects then? What does their order book look like? That's key.
Absolutely key. And their future looks promising based on that. The total value of new contracts signed in FY25, the TCV, total contract value.
Right, TCV.
It reached a hefty $39.4 billion.
$39 billion. Okay.
And just in the fourth quarter alone, they secured $12.2 billion worth of new business.
12 billion in one quarter.
Yeah, and that Q4 number translates to a book-to-bill ratio of 1.6.
1.6, meaning
Basically, for every dollar of work they completed in Q4, they booked $1.60 of new work.
okay, so a strong indicator of future revenue potential then.
Very strong. And notably, their contract wins in North America reached an all-time high in Q4.
That strong North America performance in Q4 is interesting, especially given some of the broader economic chatter.
It is, yeah, a point to watch.
And for those who invest in TCS, what about dividends? Any news there?
Yep.
They've proposed a final dividend payment of €30 per share.
Yeah.
If this gets the green light from shareholders, the total dividend for the entire FY25 will be 126 per share.
126. That's a significant return for shareholders.
It is indeed.
Good news for investors, then. You mentioned the fourth quarter specifically. How did that period perform in isolation? Any nuances there?
Yeah, looking just at Q4 FY25, TCS reported revenue of 64,479 crore,
Okay.
which is a 5.3% increase year over year, or 2.5% in constant currency.
Slower constant currency growth than the full year, then.
A bit slower, yes. Similar to the full year, though, the growth in Q4 was primarily driven by those regional markets again.
Right.
Energy, resources, and utilities, and also the banking, financial services, and insurance sector. BFSI.
Okay, BFSI bounced back a bit, maybe?
Seems like it. However, North America did see a slight dip in constant currency growth during this specific quarter.
Okay. So strong orders, but a slight dip in Q4 revenue growth there. Interesting contrast.
It is. Something to keep an eye on. Okay, so a solid year overall with some regional and quarterly variations. Now, let's pivot to something that seems absolutely central to TCS's strategy moving forward. This big push into AI and digital innovation.
Oh, absolutely. It was everywhere in their materials.
It seemed like it.
TCS is making a very deliberate, very significant bet on AI. This includes everything from, the now well-known generative AI
In AI, yeah.
to what they're calling agentic AI, which is basically AI that can act more independently to achieve goals,
Yeah.
as well as just a broad range of digital transformation initiatives.
And they're getting recognized for it too, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Their commitment here is even being noticed externally. They recently won the NVIDIA Rising Star Partner of the Year Award for AI innovation.
NVIDIA Partner Award. That's notable. Now, when a company talks about doing AI, it can sound a bit abstract,
It really can.
Can you give us some concrete examples of how TCS is actually applying AI in the real world for their clients? Like, what does it actually look like?
Yeah, and they provided some really interesting ones. Consider a major North American utility company.
Oh,
TCS is building sophisticated AI models for them. These models use data from various sources like LiDAR, that's like laser radar,
right.
satellite imagery, even weather patterns, and
Yeah.
the aim to improve how they manage vegetation around power lines.
Preventing outages.
Exactly. Preventing outages, predicting wildfire risks, and ultimately just making their operations safer and more efficient. Real-world impact.
That's a very tangible and impactful use of AI. It's not just chatbots, it's solving serious operational problems. What's another example that stood out?
Well, for a leading global streaming service and tech giant, think big OTT platform,
Yeah.
TCS has developed a generative AI-powered movie script analyzer.
A script analyzer.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This tool can analyze a script, apparently drawing on vast amounts of viewership data, and then provide insights
Insights for what?
to help the client tailor content, maybe predict audience engagement, deliver a more personalized viewing experience.
Wow, that sounds like something out of Hollywood itself. So AI isn't just about making internal processes faster. It's also directly influencing the products and services we consume.
Precisely. And it's also transforming how TCS themselves deliver their services.
Wow.
They mentioned that in over a third, like more than 33% of their current client projects, they are leveraging AI and Gen AI tools.
A third. That's significant.
Yeah, to speed up project timelines and, they say, improve the quality of their work.
Okay, so how exactly are they using AI in software development and other tech services? Can you give an example?
One key application is modernizing older, complex software systems, like legacy stuff.
Really tricky projects.
Exactly. For example, they're working with a major global financial institution and using a combination of Gen AI and their own proprietary platform, TCS Mastercraft.
Mastercraft, right.
to automatically convert a massive amount of old COBOL code. We're talking over 50 million lines.
50 million lines of COBOL.
Wow, into Java. This kind of large-scale modernization is often a huge, expensive headache for big companies.
I bet. And Mastercraft helps automate that.
Yeah, TCS Mastercraft is essentially their suite of intelligent tools designed to streamline software development and delivery, and now they're deeply integrating AI into it.
That sounds like it could save incredible amounts of time and resources.
Right.
Really highlights AI's potential to tackle these really complex legacy issues.
Absolutely. And they've also upgraded their Wisdom Next 2.0 platform.
Wisdom Next.
Yeah, it's focused on knowledge management and collaboration within TCS itself. They've added what they call agentic capabilities.
Agentic again. So more autonomous features.
Seems like it. The idea is these enhancements are designed to speed up employee onboarding, improve governance and security, and offer readily available industry-specific solutions to accelerate innovation for their clients, like having AI agents help with internal processes.
Interesting internal application. Now, beyond AI, cloud services are still a huge part of the tech landscape, right?
Yeah.
How's TCS positioned there?
Yeah, still massive. They continue to see strong demand for their cloud services, particularly in, well, helping companies move their older systems to the cloud. That's legacy modernization,
Right.
as well as modernizing their data platforms and just simplifying their overall IT infrastructure. A lot of work still to be done there for many companies.
And they have their own cloud platform offering too, don't they? TCS Crystallis.
They do. Yes, TCS Chrysalis is their integrated platform aimed at helping clients with digital transformation and also sustainability goals.
Sustainability too. Okay.
Yeah, and they are actively incorporating AI and Gen AI into Crystallis as well to enhance its capabilities.
Of course they are.
And they're building specific productivity solutions for areas like ERP migrations, think SAP.
Right. Big ERP projects.
And also low-code, no-code development, making things faster there too.
It really does sound like they're trying to infuse AI into almost every single facet of their operations and offerings. It's not just one product line.
That's certainly the strategic direction. It seems woven through everything. They even highlighted investments in what they call an agentic AI farm.
AI FAR.
Yeah, across their global business services units, GBS, which handle functions like finance and accounting, HR, customer experience.
South functions.
Exactly. And their ambitious goal here is to achieve autonomous GBS.
Autonomous GBS, meaning?
Essentially, highly automated business operations driven by these AI agents.
Wow. Autonomous GBS.
Yeah.
That's a pretty forward-thinking vision. Maybe a bit scary for some.
Potentially, yeah. Definitely ambitious.
Okay, now let's circle back to something you mentioned earlier, that impressive growth in their regional markets. It sounds like that's a conscious strategic priority.
It definitely is. I mean, the numbers, especially that 62.6% constant currency growth in India, they speak volumes, right?
Absolutely.
They specifically mentioned their involvement in, quote, nation-building projects within these growth markets.
Nation-building projects. Interesting phrasing.
It is. It suggests a broader commitment, perhaps, beyond just typical commercial engagements, maybe deeper government ties or infrastructure projects.
Right. Implies a deeper level of integration and perhaps a longer-term perspective in those regions.
Right.
Okay, what about partnerships? In today's interconnected tech world, who you collaborate with can be just as important as what you do yourself.
Very true. And they've been actively forging strategic partnerships across a range of technology domains.
Such as?
For instance, they announced a significant collaboration with Google Cloud,
Okay, Google.
focusing on enhancing their AI and Gen AI capabilities specifically for clients in the communication and media industries.
Makes sense. Any others?
Yeah, they're also partnering with Mass Robotics, which is a leading robotics innovation hub, to foster advancements in that field.
Robotics too. So AI, cloud, robotics, hitting the key areas.
Pretty much. And there are more. They've extended their existing partnership with DNB Bank ASA,
Right.
a major Nordic financial group, to support their ongoing digital modernization and even explore cutting-edge stuff like AI and, interestingly, quantum computing.
Quantum computing. Wow, looking really far ahead there.
Yeah, exploring the possibilities. They also inked a 5-year deal with Air New Zealand
Air New Zealand. Okay.
to modernize their digital infrastructure and drive AI-powered innovation across their airline operations.
That's an interesting one. You don't immediately think of an airline needing that level of tech service, but I guess everyone does now.
Exactly. Just shows the breadth of TCS's reach, you know? It's not just finance or tech companies.
True.
Huh?
Any other key partnerships? It sounds like there were quite a few mentioned.
There were. Work with Vantage Towers on developing a digital service platform, expanded agreements with Northern Trust, leveraging TCS, Bain, CS, that's their financial platform.
Need to, that's right.
A strengthened relationship with a leading German automotive financial services company for platform modernization. They also secured a significant new deal with a major U.S. payment processing firm for integration services, and again, Gen AI-powered automation.
And Gen AI popping up in deals too.
Yeah, it's becoming a feature. The list goes on, really. Continued support for Avianca's digital transformation, cloud, data, AI.
Another airline.
Yep. An extended partnership with Olympus focusing on IT services with a strong emphasis on AI and automation.
Olympus, the camera and medical tech company.
That's the one. And even a new partnership with a multinational quick-service restaurant chain, think fast food,
QSR, okay.
to revamp their IT landscape using TCS Cognigy and Ignio. Those are their AI-powered automation platforms. And a new S/4HANA rollout, that's SAP's latest system with a manufacturing company.
Okay, it really sounds like they're building a very diverse and strategic network of alliances across many different sectors.
They absolutely are. And it reflects, I think, a clear strategy of bringing in specialized expertise where needed, expanding their own tech capabilities, and just broadening their market reach.
Makes sense. Okay, so a lot of strategic moves on the partnership front. Let's shift our focus now to the human element of TCS, their clients and their, well, massive employee base.
Certainly. On the client side, they've managed to increase the number of what they call their $100 million plus clients.
Okay, the big spenders.
Exactly. They now have 64 clients that contribute over $100 million each in annual revenue. That's an increase of 2 compared to the previous year.
Only 2 new ones in that top tier.
Yeah, just 2. But it suggests they're, deepening relationships and growing spend within their largest existing customers, which is also important.
True. Retaining and growing the big ones.
Yeah.
That's a good indicator of strong, long-term client relationships. What about their workforce? TCS is one of the largest employers globally in this sector, right?
Huge. Their employee headcount stands at a staggering 607,979 individuals.
Over 600,000 people. Wow.
Representing a truly global and diverse workforce, employees from 152 different nationalities.
Incredible diversity.
And they also have a significant representation of women in their workforce at 35.2%.
35%. Okay. Still room to grow maybe, but significant. What about employee turnover? Attrition is always a key metric in IT services.
Yeah, always watch closely. Their IT services attrition rate for the last 12 months was reported at 13.3%.
13.3%. How does that compare? Is that high, low, average?
It's a figure that many companies in the sector are currently navigating. It's not alarmingly high, perhaps, but it's definitely something they'll want to manage downwards. Any attrition presents challenges, right?
Sure. And how are they investing in retaining and developing this vast workforce, especially with all the focus on new skills like AI?
They seem to be making substantial investments there. They reported an impressive 56 million learning hours completed by their employees.
These 6 million hours.
Yeah, and 5.2 million new skills or competencies acquired during the year.
Wow.
They are particularly focused, as you'd expect, on upskilling their workforce in areas like AI. And they've received numerous accolades as a top employer, an enterprise-wide top employer certification for over a decade. Recognized as the top company to work for in India by LinkedIn, that sort of thing.
So investing heavily in training and building that employer brand, that emphasis on continuous learning seems absolutely crucial, especially with how fast tech like AI is evolving.
Couldn't agree more. It's table stakes now, really.
Okay, now let's turn our attention to the future. What are the key demand trends that TCS is seeing, and what's their overall outlook for, say, the coming year, FY26?
Right, the crystal ball time. They're acknowledging the current climate of, increased economic and geopolitical uncertainty around the world.
Can't ignore it.
No. And this has led to some caution among clients. They're seeing some delays in decision-making and more careful scrutiny of discretionary spending.
Spending that's nice to have rather than essential.
Pretty much. They said this was particularly noticeable as they moved into March.
Okay. Any specific sectors feeling it more?
Yeah, they mentioned sectors like consumer business, so retail, CPG, travel, and some parts of manufacturing, like auto. Also, insurance saw some softness.
Okay, so some potential headwinds in the near term due to these broader economic factors.
Yeah.
But do they still feel confident about their prospects for growth overall.
Yes, they seem to be. Their confidence in future growth is being supported, they say, by that strong order book we talked about earlier.
Right, the $12 billion in Q4.
Exactly, which they've maintained at a high level for 2 consecutive quarters now. So they seem to anticipate that the current uncertainties will likely be, perhaps, temporary.
Hopeful thinking or based on client conversations?
Probably a bit of both. They believe their clients will eventually resume their investments in technology transformation initiatives, and they also specifically expect their international business to pick up momentum in the next fiscal year, FY26.
Okay, interesting. What are the main drivers they see fueling demand when things do pick up, or even now?
They've highlighted several key factors. The ongoing need for technology modernization that never really stops. A constant focus on cost optimization, which actually becomes even more critical during uncertain times.
Yeah, efficiency drives.
A trend towards vendor consolidation companies wanting fewer, deeper relationships.
Right.
The transformation of operational models, like moving to cloud or more agile ways of working, and the ever-present requirements for risk management and regulatory compliance.
The essentials.
Exactly. Plus, they see significant growth opportunities specifically in the continued adoption of AI, both for IT itself and across broader business apps.
Yeah, again,
Continued migration to the cloud, and also addressing existing technology debt within organizations, cleaning up old systems.
tech debt, right. And anything else?
Yeah. They also mentioned strong government spending on technology in their growth markets, like India perhaps, is expected to be a significant contributor too.
Okay, so a mix of efficiency, transformation, and new tech adoption. Going back to AI one last time, they seem really optimistic about its long-term impact on their own business, not just their clients.
Absolutely. TCS views AI not just as a cost-saving tool, but as a significant opportunity for their own revenue growth.
Alco.
They believe their AI capabilities will allow them to gain market share, basically win against competitors, and secure larger, more complex deals because they can demonstrate tangible cost savings and business value for their customers using AI.
So using AI prowess as a competitive advantage to win bigger deals.
That seems to be the strategy, yeah.
What about their profit margin outlook then? With all these investments in AI, plus the potential economic headwinds, what are they anticipating for margins?
Good question. They are anticipating some potential pressure on their margins.
Okay, why?
Partly due to potentially lower operating leverage if revenue growth slows a bit due to that uncertainty, and also the possibility of less favorable currency exchange rates compared to FY25.
Right, currency can cut both ways.
Exactly. However, they stressed they are very focused on improving internal efficiency to counteract that. Things like better utilization of their workforce, getting more billable hours from people, increased productivity, maybe through using their own AI tools internally.
Oh, using their own medicine.
Could be. And achieving better pricing or realization for their services. Their longer-term target of getting closer to a 26% operating margin, they say, remains in place.
So navigating headwinds, but still aiming for that 26% goal eventually.
That's the message.
Finally, regarding their hiring plans, what's the strategy moving forward? Still hiring aggressively.
They've indicated that their primary focus for hiring will continue to be recruiting fresh talent directly from university campuses, campus hiring.
Okay, entry-level focus.
Primarily, yes. They said they will also selectively hire experienced professionals, lateral hiring, but based on specific business needs.
And what kind of needs are those likely to be?
Well, they specifically mention high-demand areas like advanced digital skills, which aligns perfectly with their strategic emphasis on AI, cloud, data, and all those cutting-edge technologies we've been talking about.
Right. Hiring for the future skills. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that gives us a really comprehensive picture of TCS, where they've been, where they are now, and importantly, where they seem to be heading. To bring it all together then, what are the key takeaways you think our listeners should really remember from this deep dive?
Yeah, boiling it down, I'd say the core messages are: 1, TCS delivered strong revenue growth in FY25, and crucially, hit that significant $30 billion annual revenue milestone. That's big.
Check. Milestone achieved.
2, they have a healthy and robust order book, especially those last 2 quarters, which provides a solid foundation for future revenue streams, even with current uncertainty.
Okay, strong pipeline.
3, strategically, they are making really substantial and integrated investments in AI and digital transformation. It seems to be touching everything they do.
AI is central. Got it.
And four, while they are mindful of the current global economic jitters, their strong order book, their diverse client base, and that strategic focus on key growth areas like AI give them confidence in their future performance. They believe they can capitalize on long-term demand.
Right. So the story is really one of a company that's performing strongly overall, aggressively embracing the latest tech like AI, but also carefully navigating a period of global economic uncertainty.
It'll definitely be interesting to watch how their strategies unfold in the coming year.
Indeed it will. And that brings us to maybe a final thought for our listeners to consider.
Oh, go on.
Given the rapid advancements we're seeing in artificial intelligence and TCS's really significant commitment to this area, what are the potential long-term, maybe unexpected disruptions or perhaps entirely new opportunities this could create? Not just for TCS, but for a wide range of industries and even for the future of how we work. Think beyond just making things more efficient.
Hmm.
How might these technological shifts fundamentally reshape existing business models or even just the everyday experiences of consumers in the years to come?
Yeah, moving beyond efficiency gains to fundamental change. A really thought-provoking question to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into TCS.
My pleasure. We trust this has given you a much clearer and more digestible understanding of their recent performance and future direction. Until our next deep dive, stay curious.